Hey, it's Lee, and I'm here with another pizza review. And this is going to be a little bit unique. So this is a brand I'm not particularly familiar with. Excuse me. It's Pizza Oggi. I'm guessing that's how it's said. And this is a 4-cheese pizza. And it says it's hand-stretched, stone-baked, all the cool things. The thing that is interesting about this one is right here. This is gluten-free. And gluten-free usually means not great. To me, at least. I love gluten. Give me more gluten. But I kind of committed to testing all pizzas that kind of fall within my range of what is a pizza. And this, by all means, seems to be a pizza. It is 450 grams, so just short of a pound. So not a tiny little pizza, at least. And the important thing for this gluten-free pizza is that it is absolutely it has real ingredients as a crust. Some gluten-free options end up doing the cauliflower crust thing. And cauliflower crust is A, not a crust, B, not pizza. It's basically the devil pretending to be a pizza, taking the form of a pizza. So you will never see a cauliflower crust pizza on this YouTube channel with all 30 subscribers. Yeah, not going to happen. So this is Pizza Oggi. I'm actually looking forward to trying it. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be said Oggi or an Oggi or something like that. I'm not saying Oggi. Whatever, I'm saying Oggi. I like it. All right, let's take a look at what the pizza actually looks like. All right. Interesting pizza. One thing to note is that it's actually a little bit convex. So it's got a little bit of a bubble underneath. And the other thing is that there's a lot of really high spots and some really low spots. So down here, the crust is about a 1/4 inch thick. Up here, it's about an inch thick. And there's a lot of thin crust over here. And then the top part is super thick. So it does look kind of handmade. Whether or not it's well crafted by the person who made it, is up for debate. But it lends to the belief that this is actually hand stretched. It's not machine made. I cannot imagine a machine being this broken. So that's kind of cool. Cheese coverage looks pretty good. You have a couple bare patches, but overall, cheese coverage looks really good. It actually smells kind of cheesy, which is encouraging. I wonder how this crust is going to turn out. So we'll see how this gluten-free pizza performs. But as long as I get everything else right, hopefully the crust isn't a big issue for me. So this goes in the oven at 450, and it gave some instructions, but it basically was talking about when the cheese is melted, you're pretty much good to go. And you can see the crust is pre-cooked, so it shouldn't take all that long. I'll see if there's an actual minute number. I forgot to check that before I put the pizza on top of the box, and all the cheese is going to fall if I don't pay attention here. So let's toss it in the oven and see what it looks like after it's cooked. Pizza is out of the oven and looks not bad now. I will say that when I first took a look at it after about 11 minutes in the oven, the crust looked to be cooked and the cheese had zero color on it and it looked kind of like a plastic texture to it. And I didn't want to have to deal with that, so I said, let's toss it under the broiler for a minute here and see if I can get any kind of color on it. And sure enough, it darkened up a little bit, so it's looking a lot better than it was. It was kind of weird initially. The smell coming off of this thing is a little strange. It's smelling a lot like Asiago cheese, maybe. And I don't even know if Asiago is one of the cheeses in here, but it's smelling a lot kind of that, yeah, it is actually. That really strong Asiago smell, which is not the most pleasant of smells, though it's a taste that's pretty good. So we'll see how this turns out. The crust, I looked underneath, is beautiful, really perfectly cooked. We're going to cut this one into 4 pieces. It's not a particularly large pizza. Granted, it's got these high spots. But yeah, the cut is suggesting a decent crisp on here. That went way too easily. Oh, moved it off the screen here. All right, let's put it back together. So there's the pizza. I will take a taste, and I will be back with a review. Excuse me. I'm back with a review. And this pizza might be the biggest surprise I've had so far as what my review is going to be. Let me explain. The cheese, unlike every other cheese pizza except for the ristorante that has that blue cheese kind of liquid stuff, the cheese actually has flavor here. And the flavor is like a strong Parmesan Asiago, that kind of a little bit of a smelly type of cheese, but it's there, and it's actually really kind of nice. I'm liking it. I often put Parmesan on my pizza after the fact, and it kind of reminded me of that, so that's good. The texture of the cheese is a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why. I guess it's because of the way it cooked, where it cooked so slowly, and then I finally crisped it up at the end. There's a weird kind of plasticky feel to the cheese, but honestly, flavor-wise, I'll make that trade. I'll take the flavor over the texture. So that's a positive. The failure of this pizza is the sauce, I would say. The sauce is like ridiculously bland, and like not even interesting. Like some bland sauces at least have like a distinct flavor to them, and you can say, well, this tastes like X. This I cannot compare it to anything. It's just the blandest sauce I've ever had. Now, a lot of people don't care for that much sauce on a pizza, and that might be great for them. I like a saucy pizza, and to me, this sauce, you could put 3 times as much of it, and I still probably wouldn't recognize it. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of the sauce. But again, super flavorful cheese. And here's the big surprise, and this is where my mind is a little bit blown. This may be... I don't want to say it's the best frozen pizza crust I've had, but it's the realest tasting frozen pizza crust I've had. So there's a lot of these rising crusts that I find taste better, and I like the texture of them quite a bit. But this feels like a real wood-fired crust. It's weird. I'm saying weird a lot about this pizza because I thought my review would be the exact opposite. Terrible crust, everything else is fine. In this case, the sauce is kind of terrible. The cheese is pretty decent, and the crust is by far the best part of this. It's the most surprising piece. I like this crust a lot. If you put a half decent sauce on here with a little bit of spice in it, a little bit more, just something a little more interesting. And I don't believe they have a pepperoni version of this. They do have a margarita, so maybe that will have fresh tomatoes. It'll taste a little different. If you put something a little bit more interesting on here as far as sauces go, and maybe a couple toppings, I feel like a lot of people would like this. Surprisingly decent, I will say. So congrats on making a crust that's gluten-free and completely edible, if not better than many crusts. So, color me surprised. I'm going to pull out the props, and I'm going to go ahead and give this I only go even numbers with this, right? All right, so it's 5 over here and 2 over here. I expected to give this a 4. I'm going to be completely honest. I've had gluten-free things in the past, and I rarely like them. So for this to get a 7, and this could have been easily more if the sauce wasn't like one of the lamest sauces. And again, it's not gross. It's just lame. This could have been even higher. That's good for Oggi or Oggi or whatever it is. All right, thanks for watching.